All right, so today our homework is going to be adding on to your magazine practice and finding the vanishing point in a photograph that you find in a magazine. You're going to bring that in, and you're also going to bring in to me a plain piece of paper. You can use a copy piece of paper, a pencil, and your straight edge, ruler, edge of cardboard, edge of your notebook. 10 to 15 boxes, and you're going to be using linear perspective, 1-point perspective. And it's going to look a little bit like this when you bring it in for your homework practice, and we're going to transform that into something else. Filippo Brunelleschi, back before the Renaissance and the end of the Middle Ages, figured out a way to mathematically represent what we now know of as linear perspective, how objects recede back into space. He figured out a sort of mathematical formula for that. He's most famous for the Duomo, designing a Duomo in Florence, Italy, this really large vaulted dome, a very big innovation in architecture and science at the time. So what you're going to need to do to establish 1-point perspective is the first thing you want to do is establish a horizon line. The horizon line just basically means it's the point where the land and the sky meet. However, it could just mean your eye level. What if there is no land or sky and you're inside of the building and you need to figure out where you're going to establish your background for your perspective drawing. So your horizon line is really your eye level. And it can meander, it can go straight, it can do whatever you want. I'm going to make it go past that little bit because in a moment we're going to talk about vanishing point. The vanishing point is actually that spot on the horizon, on your eye level, that you are looking. In 1-point perspective, I explained it's a little unrealistic, it's a little bit like a camera's eye view. And 1-point perspective happens when you are looking at a singular point in space, 1 point in space. And that point is where everything seems to vanish to. That's your vanishing point. Okay? I like to draw a little eye on there sometimes so that you know that's the spot everything converges or recedes in space. Now what we're going to do is draw a box. And I've started one. Just like the ones I showed you at the beginning for your homework. What we're going to do is use the face of the box, and we are going to draw orthogonals. Those are really, that's a fancy math word for an art teacher to use, but those are your converging lines. Those are the lines that are going to converge on your vanishing point. If this is the face of a solid box, what you're going to do, or maybe even the side of a building, if you can imagine the next step, you're going to line up your corners that face your vanishing point, and you're going to draw your converging lines to that vanishing point. So you're lining up with your corner of your box and your vanishing point, just like we did with the side of the table or that architectural property in our photograph. If we take that all or almost all the way to our vanishing point, these are our converging lines. I didn't put this line up here because we can't see through the box. All right, it's not a see-through plexiglass box. And this one is actually falling behind. Notice that the box is above our eye level and above our view where we're looking. So we're going to be able to see the bottom of the box. We're also going to be able to see this left side of the box because it's to the left of where we are looking. Or we're going to see the right side of the box because it's to the left of where we're looking. Okay? And then in order to close off our box, we're going to end with a parallel. And this is your choice. We're going to end it with a parallel line. And from that point also you're going to end with a parallel line that's parallel to your horizontal. So you have your verticals and your horizontals. And then if you're doing a drawing and these are now solid objects, you're going to erase your orthogonals, your converging lines, and what you have now is a box. Okay? So, your homework is to create 10 to 15 of these boxes using that same linear perspective method, 1-point perspective. All right, and hopefully you'll bring that and your magazine practice in for the next steps. Thanks.